Sure.
Good morning, good afternoon, participants. We are going to start the second session.
And
I'm going to start the second session.
Well, friends, Dr. Anuradha Sethi, with whom you have been interacting for the last so many days and in previous workshop also, is working as an assistant professor in IDC. She did her master's in chemistry, MA and PhD in the field of chemistry from Department of Education, Punjab University, Chandigarh. She has more than 30 research publications in national and international journals, 25 presentation of papers in national and international conferences, and also chapters in books. Her main areas of interest are in science and educational technology. She has also a published book to her credit, and the title is Effect of Computer-Based Individualistic Cooperative Learning Strategies in Achievement and Retention in Chemistry in relation to scientific creativity and scientific aptitude. During her PhD as UGC Junior and Research Fellows, she has been teaching 2 MA and MA classes in the department. During lockdown, she engaged herself in attending online workshops, and at present, she is involved in doing research projects, taking classes in research methods, and currently, as you know, she is organizing and coordinating workshops on online teaching and learning. As you are aware that she is lively, enthusiastic, inexhaustible person, Anuradha, in the name of Anuradha, you will see her another aspect of her personality when she will take you along with her constructivism in a very creative manner. Enjoy with her. Over to Dr. Anuradha.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an introduction. So participants, I'm here to start my topic, and the topic is teaching methods, constructivism as paradigm. I just want, before I start, I just want to know that why constructivism here. Before even I start this meaning and all my presentation, I just want to share this quote with you that Albert Einstein has given this quote. I do not teach anyone. I only provide the environment in which they can learn. The quote is very well suited in this context of this today's scenario. How this quote, I actually, when I read this quote, I was also thinking that this quote is really very well suited because today the environment is now totally changed. You are in such a position, being a teacher and being myself also being a teacher educator, that teacher is somewhere else, student is somewhere else. How to build this communication? And for in such a type of environment where we have to build the communication, we have to interact with the students, what kind of platforms are available, how teaching and learning is possible without resources, how you will reach up to your students. I mean, these kinds of problems are there, and we have now shifted from offline to online. And in this present environment, it's my personal opinion that teaching is a very, very far away concept. First, you have to reach out with them, reach out to your students, communicate with them. And you all know that in every home, the environment is not same. Some have resources, some do not have resources. And students, they are really missing their classrooms, traditional classrooms, conventional classrooms, because before this COVID-19, we both were very happy. You are as a conventional, as a traditional, you are following the methods. We all go to our colleges, institutions and teach there, and we were very happy. But now as we shifted to this online teaching, students, they really miss their classrooms. And where is the communication? Where is the teacher? I'm asking you also, where is the teacher? It is, I really understand the position of a teacher, that you want to interact with them, you want to teach them, and you are learning also. That's why you are here. We all are gathered here on this online platform. You want to teach, you want to gather the knowledge, but how to teach? And before teaching, you have to communicate, you have to reach them. And why this system, how to build this system, and why the system was important. You are also continuously attending these kinds of workshop. You have a motivation to teach. You are also considering your resources. You want to you want to provide the environment. Before this COVID-19 was there. Now in this COVID-19, you have to build up the various resources, taking into the account, you have to provide them that situation in which they were earlier, they were sitting in the class, and lectures were there, and students and teacher interaction was there. This interaction component, we have to build up this online, in the online settings. And I personally believe that this component is little bit missing, and we are in the process. Actually, we are in the process, and this will take time. Naturally, this is not a overnight process. This is not a rocket science that even in one day you will learn all the tools. In 1 week you will learn all the tools. I know some participants they were participate wholeheartedly and were continuously messaging me even day and night ki ma'am, just add these topics in the workshop. We want to learn that. Some animated videos, some people want to learn some different tools, some LMS is there. We have our constraints, and you have also your constraints. And by considering both the constraint, we are negotiating, and this is social negotiation. And this is constructivism. Actually, this is an example I'm just giving from the scenario we are present here. We are negotiating on, both the parties are negotiating on this common platform, on this common theme, that we want also you to learn, and you are there to learn. Whatever we have, we are doing, we are providing you the best we can. And this is environment. Before you are in a position to go to teach your student in this online learning, we have to build competencies in teacher. Can anyone teach? Teaching is not everybody's cup of tea. I want to clear one thing. आप उठ के अपनी सीट से और टीच करने का सोच लिया जी हाँ मैं भी ऑनलाइन पढ़ा लूंगी, मैं भी ऑनलाइन पढ़ा लूंगा, तो कैसे होगा? First we have to build the competencies, keeping in view this online teaching learning. And because this shift was very challenging and everybody is not in position, everybody is learning. This is two-way process. We both are learners. You are a learner, myself is a learner, even resource persons are learners. And this is constructivism. A teacher is also a learner and will remain a learner. This is the quality of a teacher. And the best example is Asha Sethi ma'am. She's continuously learning. Even now she's attending all the workshops, even technology. And this is constructivism. Learning should not be stopped in any stage of the life. So this was Albert Einstein. Second thing, I was noticing that technology, you have technology, you have gained knowledge, we have technology. Technology, will you think you will in a position, if I give you all the resources, that you will be able to use the technology without the knowledge of a pedagogy, a right pedagogy, teaching learning methods? You can't. And technology will never make the great teachers. And the scenario has been coming that technology does not transform itself. It's not capable to transform this process. We need a good pedagogy. Technology cannot replace the teacher. A human being has to be there, and he or she has to teach Alone, technology cannot work. Technology always supplements this process. It's just an augmentation to your learning process. And for this, we need a good pedagogy. And this is also one point I want to make, that yes, in a coming days, the teachers who are not using technology, and my personal opinion is that the who are not using technology is going to be definitely replaced with the teacher who are using technology, because it's the need of hour. Now you can't go with the traditional methods. Yes, we are very happy, we are in a very comfort zone that we are just teaching them as a traditional, in the traditional classrooms. We are very good teachers as conventional teaching is going on. But in this online teaching, you have to got updated with your skills. You know how to use this technology. In the in previous workshop, in this workshop, this both workshops we have planned keeping in view the needs of present day teachers. We have to train them how to teach, in this online environment. So keeping in view this, that technology alone cannot transfer education process, we need a good pedagogy. And I just want to discuss with you that this overview of online teaching learning process, uh, this online teaching learning process appears to be very simple, but this is not as simple as it appears to be. This is very challenging. And when this everyone has a different perception, that but what I believe is that the various questions that have been raised in this present day scenario, that will be teachers able to teach online whatever resources they have. Even you can think of yourself, even you have resources, are you able to teach online? And it's a big question. Various in present workshop and previous workshops, and also my friends also, of everybody's this posing this question, that these various online tools, is this the teaching hardware approach? Is this the teaching? We have tools, you have Zoom, Google Meet, there are so many tools you have learned. But what to do with these tools if you do not know you do not have the knowledge of pedagogy, where to integrate these ICT tools? I agree that these tools are necessary, and now present day, you are nothing without these tools. Without the knowledge of ICT, you can't stand. And even after the post-COVID, the situation will remains, the people will try to use this online teaching learning, because this has now become the need. And I must say, this is also an opportunity also. This coronavirus is really given us an opportunity to use this ICT. Before that, we all were in our comfort zone. And we have to take it in a positive attitude, that the things that coronavirus has thrown us, the environment has thrown us, we have to take in a positive way. We have to build up the competencies. ICT, we need ICT competencies. And that's why you are here, me is here, and people are across the world is working on various platforms to get easy, where learning management systems are created, free of cost is created, and open educational resources are there, and various platforms they are there where students can aware the benefits, teachers can aware the benefits, because the situation is there. It is significant that teacher is more than just a facilitator of knowledge. Teacher, what is going to, I will discuss in my presentation what is the role of the teacher, but I just here want to mention that now, because in this online teaching learning, the role of teacher is very quite challenging and interesting. If you take this in a positive mode, that we are constantly learning also. Otherwise, you people never come to attend these kinds of workshop. Even I will not attend, because it is the need of the hour. We all have to attend the workshops, like these kinds of workshops. And now today my focus will be on what is constructivism. I will talk about social constructivism. What are the principles? How can this constructivist approach be applied to online teaching learning? And from learner-centered pedagogy to learner pedagogy, and from constructivist approach from constructivism to connectivism, and various online tools available for collaboration. So just I begin with the first thing, that is what is constructivism. And as I have told you that why constructivism, because of this shift, because students were just passively listening, being in the front of screen. Teachers were speaking, interaction was there, but there was nothing was going on like engagement process. It was just a one-way process. Even you know that in conventional classrooms also, when the teacher is authoritarian attitude, because a teacher is in the belief that I know, therefore I am the supreme. मुझे सब कुछ आता है और जो मुझे आता है वही सही है, और वही the students only have the source, that is teacher. सारी knowledge teacher से ही निकल के आएगी. जैसे कि as ma'am has said it, sage on the stage, वो प्रवचन कर रहा है teacher, और students are listening to him or her. But now the scenario is changed. अब ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. अब students has to be active and teacher has to be more active. Both are the learners, and that bond has to be broken of just passive listening. Every time teacher transmits the knowledge to students and they were passively listening. But now the scenario is changed, and that is why I have chosen this topic of constructivism, in which students construct their own meaning. They construct their own knowledge. This is what the constructivism is. In that, students construct the meaning, the knowledge from experiences. Experiences they gain from environment, they gain through interaction, and they gain through the social interaction when they interact with the people in their surroundings, with teachers, student, and nowadays we have that entities, network of connections. I will talk about connectivism also, that networks, that interaction, through that interaction, whatever knowledge they are gaining, that is constructivism. अब ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि टीचर बोल रहा था, स्टूडेंट सुन रहा था. That was the only thing. But now, before coming to the class, even a virtual classroom I am talking about, in the context of online teaching learning, student has to work a lot before coming to the class. What was in the traditional? Student कुछ नहीं, student just come to class and listening to teachers. Teachers क्या करते थे? They give homework to them. That was the rule. But now, and teacher has to work also. I just want to mention here that the best approaches used for pedagogy of online teaching learning, and I believe it's my personal opinion, and yes, people are using, that is, we should go for flipped classrooms and collaborative learning, cooperative learning, as ma'am has also mentioned about these kinds of methods. Now these kinds of methods will only work in this type of environment. That is true. The one thing is very true, that in online teaching environment, authoritarian attitude of teacher will not go the way. Authoritarian type of attitude it will not work, because students are now, they are not in a position, they do not have enough resources. How they will manage? I mean, if teacher is not cooperating with their students, then how students will learn? I mean, this approach is participatory approach, both the sides, learner and teacher. हमें ऐसी approach ढूंढनी है where teacher is actively participated with the learner. It should not be authoritarian. The atmosphere should be democratic. As ma'am has also mentioned, that we have to use learner-centered, student-centered methods, because student is at the center, and student, we have to give the onus of learning to the students, responsibility to the students. We want them to derive their learning. It should training first, conventional classrooms. What happened in conventional classrooms? All the control was with the teacher. But in this online teaching learning environment, you have to shift that control to the student. Give them opportunity so that they can ask the questions in the classroom. They want interaction with the teacher. Give them such a friendly environment. They can ask the questions before coming. They want to interact with this, and teachers should be approachable to the student. teacher is not just a person that coming to class, and that teaching learning was just restricted to classroom. But this will not go now. We have to find out the methods. Teaching learning जो है, it should not be isolated in the classrooms. It should have to go away. We have to go away with the interaction with society. Social interaction is the need of the hour actually. Now the things, because things are changing, and we want creativity also, we want critical thinking skills also. These watchwords, these tag words, these are very heavy words, and before you want to use these words, let's know what the pedagogy is. And constructivism is basically fosters the critical thinking and creates the active and motivated learners. Learners are not passive and they are just listening and listening. No, they have to create their own meaning. They have to create the critical thinking. You all people may be aware of Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom has given various levels, that from lower level to higher level of thinking, we have to follow certain levels. That is first in the traditional teaching, what was there? Actually only remembrance and knowledge. We were only concentrated to that part also. But now we need creativity, and creativity is the highest level. And for that level, we need some methods, we need some pedagogy. And for that pedagogy, we have to follow certain steps. We definitely, I know everything will not going to be perfect, because it's just started and we are our initial stages. We want time. Learning takes time. It is not an overnight process. But yes, you have to start somewhere. It's our mind, it's our mindsets. You have to start somewhere, because in this process, constructivist teaching is just not going the way that you have planned your lesson plan, and you are just throwing that plan on the students, and students will do their work and will respond you back. No, you have to engage the learners. Engagement is very important component of any teaching. If you are not engaging your learners, then it means there will be no learning. And how learning is nothing but we have to create certain opportunities. We have to create certain situations in which learning has to be done by doing. Learning by doing. We have to do the things. Otherwise, they will not gain the experience. What I was talking about in this constructivism, knowledge has to be constructed, has to be student will understand by when he is interacting with certain opportunities, certain phenomena, experiences certain phenomena, deriving certain knowledge, and then construct his own meaning, his own understanding. That is what a constructivism is. Now I am moving further to next slide. Social constructivism. That is very important, social constructivism. You all know about Vygotsky's theory that through others we become ourselves. This is very, I just feel this quote is really very going this well in this situation, that you can't develop in isolation. We can't develop in isolation. We want to learn from others, and how it is possible? Through social interaction. Just you are in your own space, and I am in my own space, then we are just interacting through these platforms, and we are interacting through resource persons also. And this is what the example of social constructivism, a live example you have, it is, and it is very much needed for our cognitive development. Cognitive development alone will not work, just information processing in brain. We need social interaction also. Just alone, it will not work. And for social interaction, because human being, we are a social. And when we apply this principle to our classroom teaching and learning, we always gain. When we interact with community, when we interact through our connections are what? They are the nodes. Nodes are what? I mean, you people are there, resource persons are there, a lot of content is on the internet, and these all makes connections, and through this process of interaction, we are going to learn, and that's what we have to supplement this process through social interaction. Moving to next slide. Vygotsky's social interaction constructivist theory states that social interactions are important in construction of knowledge. And it takes place in various contexts, in various cultural contexts, by using various languages. Maybe you belong to a different, you are following your own culture, I'm following my own culture. But when we are sharing our common goal of learning, we are exchanging our ideas. We can learn from adults, we can learn from our peers, and this process should go hand in hand. Individual learning is important. I'm not saying that without individual learning and only self-learning. No, there should be a partnership between individual learning and social learning. Then you will learn. Self-learning alone will not work. Sometimes self-learning is important and sometimes we have to use social interaction also. So it should go both side by side. And as Vygotsky has given a zone of proximal development, ZPD, we call it at ZPD. Sometimes what is there that maybe in classroom, or I'm talking about in normal situations also, we can easily learn to some extent. But after that, we need some help. We need some expert, we need a teacher. And when that teacher is present to help us, and we just solve our problems, and we need just a temporary support, and then he takes away the support. And now I'm in position to learn on my own. This is what a zone of proximal development is. I mean, we use also for scaffolding, just we are giving a temporary support to teacher. I mean, for example, in here, some people, because this workshop will end, you will go your way, I will go my way. But I am there, we are providing you a temporary support to your problems. And once you learn these things, you will be in a position to use these all things, all tools, all platforms on your own. And this is what Vygotsky has postulated. We have different strategies. Scaffolding, I have told you, reciprocal teaching. In reciprocal teaching, what does we do? We make the groups. In groups, we take the students that some are very expert. I mean, we have different groups. You know that in our classrooms, we have diverse group of learners. And in diverse group of learners, some are good, and some are average, and some are below average. We make the groups like who are very expert, who have knowledge, who are intelligent, with that people who are slow learners, so that they can easily instruct, they can easily guide the other students to learn. And this is reciprocal teaching. And then we have peer-to-peer collaboration, that we are collaborative learning, like you and me, we are collaborating to learn this online teaching. Guided instruction is there. In guided instruction, you know, teacher is guiding the students. I mean, that is also needed, because this is very important to know which contents need which method of teaching. I mean, all the topics not easy. All the topics are not easy. You can't left them to grasp them. Students cannot learn on their own. All the topics cannot be, but yes, some topics you can left to them. And this, the task of teacher here is a very challenging, very important, and teacher has to be very careful which method you want, which strategy you will select depending upon the content. And ma'am has also talked about cooperative learning also, cooperative learning in which the students cooperatively learn from each other, various problems they discuss in the groups. We made small groups, and there are different strategies, as ma'am had said, jigsaw hai, think, pair, share hai. We use different strategies in cooperative learning. If we make the groups and the interaction going to takes place in groups, they collectively learn from each other. And there is no competition. They collectively learn to accomplish a common goal of learning. And collaborative learning also. Collaborative learning, all the students, they are collaboratively learn to accomplish the common goal. I mean, collaborative learning is the best example of this, our online interaction also, because it is basically a broader term than cooperative learning, because we are collaborating through networks. Networks means you are somewhere else, I am somewhere else. But yes, we interact with each other, and maybe group activity is also possible, both online and offline. And these what I have just discussed with you, these kind of strategies, these all are possible in online also, because day by day various platforms are providing us various features in various tools so that we can use these methods. But yes, we have to learn. The process is slow, but it is possible. You can learn, and this is the main difference in in both these types of learning. In collaborative learning, the individual development of the learner is kept in view. I mean, I am learning and I am responsible for my development, and you are sitting somewhere else and you have your own development. But in cooperative learning, they are collectively doing some task. There is no individual individual performance. I'm not measuring any individual performance, but in collaborative learning, yes, the individual performance of learner is important. Next, moving to next slide. This constructivism, as I have told you, that this is an active process. Learner has to be active, teacher has to be active. Teacher have to provide a certain material, certain video, certain resources, have to engage the learners to some possible extent, depending upon the nature of topic, nature of context he is using. And students have to construct their own meaning. They have to discover, they have to explore, and only then they can discover their meaning by exploring the phenomena. You have to give them the task so that they can explore. You have to give them the resources. And because in this online teaching learning, teacher has to be resourceful. Resourceful in terms of what? Resourceful in terms of internet connection, in terms of tools, in terms of OER, what we have discussed already, in terms of techniques, pedagogy, in terms of skills, how to integrate these tools in online teaching learning. Suppose I am here that I am just talking about this traditional methods of teaching or conventional methods, or there are some methods which is applicable only in the face-to-face classroom. There are certain methods, the good methods are available, but there is no logic to talk about here. You people are come here to listen those methods which is required in online teaching learning process. We have to integrate this knowledge. And the basic fundamental of this constructivism is that we build a new knowledge on the basis of the prior knowledge. This is the main consideration. I mean, suppose I just want to learn the tool of any platform like Zoom platform, then I must know how to download that Zoom, how to work with Zoom. I mean, integration is a second step. First step is how to learn Zoom. I mean, some prior knowledge is essential before we develop a new knowledge. And this is what the constructivist approach tells us about that. We are just developing the new ideas on the basis of prior knowledge we have. We are integrating the both things. I mean, suppose some people in your group, like we in our workshop, that might be not have any knowledge of internet or various tools or even the Google Forms. And I'm not saying that it's their fault. I'm saying that there must be some basic knowledge. Before, in constructivism, there must be some basic knowledge, and for that basic knowledge, before coming to classroom, teacher has to give some material to the students. When you apply this technique in your online teaching learning, before coming to the classroom, we have to provide them reading material, any videos or any kind of lectures. They will saw that they have to develop some prior understanding, because ab kya hai, in online teaching learning, it is easier for a teacher to give attention to students, because now teacher have given some task beforehand and they have read those readings, their text also before coming to class. Now teacher can easily use their time of classroom teaching for discussion purpose also. Otherwise, what was happening in traditional classrooms? Teachers come to the classroom, right? There is a lot of discipline problem and there is a lot of syllabus also. Nothing was given to the learner beforehand. But now is what? Now they can utilize their time. They can utilize their time because they have given them readings, they have read the topic, and now we can utilize the time for discussion also, for interaction also. Teacher can easily assess various problems because he or she has time. I can understand this thing because there was a workload, so much workload on teacher in traditional classrooms, and actually teacher has nothing given to students to learn. So this is the modern day teaching of this constructivism. This principle has to be embedded in our teaching learning process. And yes, there is the need of pedagogy that I have already discussed, that one size does not fit all. All are not the same learners. They are diversified, and we have to accept this truth that all learners do not learn at the same pace. We have to devise some pedagogy keeping in view of their diversity, because learners, it's not the fault of a learner that he or she has no knowledge or even the prior knowledge, but we do consider this thing in constructivism that students are not blank slates. They are not blank slates, and they will not be. Something in their mind they have ideas, maybe in the background they have, in the back of the mind, and the role of the teacher is to is to take that ideas just in front of the students. Even students do not, sometimes we unconsciously, we do not realize what is going on, and they do not know how to learn. And this constructivism is basically focused on how to learn. That is, we have to learn, we have to unlearn, and then we have to relearn. These are the basic features. Even for ourselves also, being a teacher, if you do not unlearn, then how will you learn the new practices? You have to, this is a vicious circle. I mean, this we have to follow in our teaching learning process, that we have to continuously learn the new techniques. Agar aap wohi do techniques kisi piti lekar baithe rahenge, and the learn, and now there is the need to follow that techniques, to follow new techniques which are relevant to this situation. Otherwise, kya hoga? Naturally, somebody was asking, ma'am, how to motivate the students in this online teaching learning? A big problem. How to motivate them? Because what can teacher do? Teacher only can give them instructions, as Dr. Balaji already said, that we have to, instruction part is very important. That should be clear. But once instructions has been given, then what a teacher can do? Teacher can only instruct them to do these things, but it is on the part of a learner to perform those tasks, and to develop the motivation in this online learning. I must say that is very challenging for teacher nowadays. But what we can do is we have to search for the solution, possible solutions, and if I have to do these small things, like you can make 2-3 minutes of video of your lectures, or you can send them some reading material related to that, or you can post some questions also, like you give some assignments, which are going for engagement purpose, not just for you are completing your syllabus. This is the main fault of our system, that if we give assignments to complete our syllabus, give them problems of real world life, give some problems that are authentic in the real world environment. ऐसी problems मत दीजिए जो सिर्फ बच्चे, they feel sometimes bored, sometimes difficult. If they think they are difficult, they will not do, they will left out these things. You have to integrate with the authentic task in the real world problem. Sometimes, for example, in mathematics, you people might be knowing that various profit and loss is their concept. And what we can do that in morning, or when we go to shopping, we do this buying and selling concept. You can make 2-3 minutes of video. But just an example, you can do these kind of things. I mean, it's a school level example. We have to find out the solution. We have to search the solution to develop the motivation of students. ऐसा नहीं है कि you were also student, I was also student. I know that where I find the motivation to learn. I know we have to develop, we have to make them curious. Curiosity is very important. Interest is very important. Without that, there will be no motivation. You have to bring them to the front of your teaching learning process. You have to make them curious. अब सीखने का मजा ही नहीं है तो why they will learn? This component is very, very important. Whether you are using constructivist pedagogy or not, you have to always remember this point that whatever you are teaching, that should be purposeful task. It should not be without purpose, without objectives. First you lay out, you formulate your objectives, and then you have to plan. Without planning, this online teaching will not work. I must tell you one thing. Even in traditional classrooms also, you people might be knowing that without lesson plan, this process of teaching learning vanishes out. I mean, this will not work without planning. And when I know when we are mixing this ICT with the pedagogy of online teaching learning, the system is little bit complicated. It's not as simple, but it will be simple by the time you will learn all the things. And yes, we are learning, and now we have small initial knowledge also of this ICT, and it will not be a very we can say a very impossible task. The task has been started, and we are on the journey of this task, and we all are. I agree with this fact that the problem of resources is there and will remain there, but we have to make most of the resources we have. The goal of the teaching learning process should be to reach out the learners. How to make this communication effective also. ये नहीं कि just you have to interact with the students and हो गया. No, you have to make effective. You have to develop creativity. क्रिएटिविटी ऐसे नहीं है कि आपने बोल दिया हाँ जी दो उनको एक कोई एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कर दिया. देन एक्टिविटी बेस्ड टीचिंग इज एसेंशियल, but you have to be very careful that where it is to be incorporated. I mean, in higher education, we need different things. Activity based teaching will go, how it will go. I mean, we have different techniques, but we have to make a balance between your activity based teaching and the whole process where it goes on. It should not be just shifted to just one way, that you have given them activities and your job is over. No, your job is not over. You have to make students to construct the meaningful experiences. You have to make by assessing, by giving them free feedback of what they have completed and why they have completed, why they are doing this task. What is the role of you as the teacher, and what the role of the student, and where this process goes on, why this process goes on. This has to be developed in student. Now shifting to another slide. These were the principles of constructivism, that it takes time to learn. I mean, it's not a race, I must say. Learning is not a race that we are just completing to accomplish our goals. Give them time. Students need some time to learn also. Have patience also. Have tolerance also. Sometimes teacher has to change the different methods with students. And in that situation, I agree that teacher has to do a lot of tasks also side by side, and there are so many problems. They have to complete their other work also. But just try to be in the position of a student and think that that our goal is to make them learn. Learning is an active process. Yes, learning is an active process, both sides, teacher ke liye bhi and for student also. People learn to learn. I mean, why they are learning? Why they are just simply, as if you are sitting there, you are just simply listening to my talk, or you are just learning something. Language is very important component that is required for the learning. And as I've told that it is the social activity. If it is, it can be individual one, I'm not saying, but the best results will come in social interactions. It has to be contextual also. I mean, in what context you are talking about. If I talked about in face-to-face teaching strategies, that will not serve your purpose, because we are pushed to these situations by this corona. So we need that strategies. And learning is not passive acceptance of knowledge. I'm saying something to you, why would you accept that? You should reason out, you should question out, you should ask out why we are here to learn this constructivism. What is the need of this constructivism? Motivation is the major aspect of learning. That is the main thing, and that is possible only. Motivation is possible only if you take interest in the activities what a resource person has given to us. And actually these kinds, I mean, what there was going from 4 days, I'm sure that was serving the purpose, and we actually plan because we know your needs. If it will not fulfill your needs, then what kind of motivation will arouse? Because we are looking in the present scenario from 2-3 months, as ma'am was saying, the process was going on, and we were looking the various strategies, various techniques, how to train you for teaching these online teaching skills. And for that, we have to consider only those things we have incorporated in our schedule, which is important, which will provide, which will serve your purpose, and definitely motivation will go on. And I can see people are wholeheartedly completing their activities, sending me messages in day and night. They're working day and night, and some people, they're eager to learn. That some are saying that, ma'am, you should plan these topics in for your next workshop. But people are eager to learn, they are curious to learn. ऐसा नहीं है. तो आप लोगों को, being a teacher, you have to be careful of the needs of the students. That is what I'm saying. Next slide, I'm going to guess learner driven pedagogy. Learner centered pedagogy ho gayi. Learner is at the center of process. But now we want some learner driven pedagogy. Learner centered is good pedagogy, and we are using it, and we will use, but we want something that is, you have to make the learners as independent learners. Like driving, we have, you yourself experience accelerator, brakes, clutches. The same way, give them onus, give them responsibility. It's okay, you have to train them to a certain aspect, certain situations. Up to certain level, we can train them. But the goal should be, we have to make them independent. And my goal is to make you independent. I'm trying to do that. We are providing you experts that once you learn certain things by practice, yes, by practice. And yesterday somebody was saying, ma'am, please give me assignments that is good for practice. But I can understand there are constraints on you people also, that you have to take your classes online, and you are attending here, and there are a lot of work at home also. So on considering on that basis, we have planned in this workshop as MCQs. And that was just considering your points that you have different works to do. But that was the good point she was making, that assignments are good for practice. What the point I'm mentioning here is, what we do by practice, we never forget. जो चीज आपने खुद की है, you have practice, you will never forget that things. And when the thing is that, like this of technology part, that is purely practical part. It's not a theoretical part. We come here, I will talk that tool, and you will learn. Maybe you will learn, some of you will be able to learn the steps I'm showing that. I'm not saying that all will not learn, but there is some protocol for practical things. We have to give you training. You have to practice. I mean, what you have now knowledge with you, if you do not practice, this will go, even this you will forget. I'm saying I can, and you will definitely experience the things that these things are only learnt by practice. If you're not using these things, then it will go in vain. No learning will happen. So I was talking about learner-driven pedagogy with constructivism. You have to make their learners independent learners, and that will happen when you give them opportunities to experience. We want some experiential learning for this purpose. And that will only happen when you will give some opportunities. You have to plan some activities. Activity-based learning is very essential nowadays for the engagement purpose, for interaction purpose, and to make them independent also. To just arouse interest also. Otherwise, it will be boredom. Teaching we have to, if we have to incorporate the component of creativity, then we have to incorporate this component of activity also. But be careful, there should be a balance. How much activities you have to incorporate, how much time you have there. You have to wind up in this on that time, and you have to constructively, you have to infer that why you activities were planning, and is that the thing you have planned for your objective has achieved or not. Then participatory approach, you have to involve your students to participate in the process. And once they experience, they interact with one another, with you, the ideas will be exchanged. The participatory approach is needed to exchange the ideas. If in this group, you do not question the resource person, you do not question us, you not ask any question, not give any comment, not interacting with us, not sending me the messages, it was good or it was bad, your experiences, then how would improvement will take place? How would you learn? How would we people going to know that what kind of things we are providing you have provided you benefit or not? So participation is very important, whether it is outside the classroom, whether it is inside the classroom, whether it is learning or not, even our daily life, participation is important, and it is up to you how much you want to participate in which process. And concept development, yes, concepts. I'm coming to this part, concept, because our purpose is to develop the concept by using various techniques, by using various strategies, by using this, even in this online teaching learning, by using this constructivist pedagogy, we have to develop the concepts. And the main thing is that I should not spoon feed you the concept. Even a small concept, if I want to give you example that I want to show the parts of plants. And in traditional classrooms, what I was doing, that I was saying that this is plant and these are the various parts of the plants. I just give you the information. I was just transmitting the information. But in constructivism, what is there? I will show you where are the leaves, where are the roots. I will not come directly to the concept. I will derive from you what is the concept, and that is constructivism. I mean, I'm not spoon feeding you. This is the concept. This is the computer. I first give you the opportunity to explore that these are keyboards. This is power. You have to connect from here. This is the power. This is a screen. And then you yourself has to develop. I have to develop the concept from you. That is what we do in inductive thinking also. I'm moving to next slide. That is constructive learning. It's an active process, and I have told you it is learning by doing, and students share their experiences with the group. And as I have told you, that traditional teaching, that was one-way process, no room for understanding, lacks higher order thinking skills. It was basically centered on the lower order thinking thing. As you know, Bloom's taxonomy is there. It was a limited participation. And what we are doing there, we were focused on the product. And now constructivism gave us the opportunity to focus on process. We have to focus on the process, how this process is going on. And next, I'm moving to next slide. Differences, I have already told you, between traditional classrooms and constructivist classrooms. And these were the benefits, that you have to develop the creativity, critical thinking, social interaction, and motivation. These were all possible benefits of constructivism. And this I want to just share with you this slide. That is, we are moving from instructivism to connectivism. Instructivism was there. Teacher आया, knowledge transmit करके चला गया. जो भी उसके पास, it's a one-way process. That it just produce that disseminating knowledge, just giving you knowledge. Constructivism. What is constructivism? You have constructed through your self-discovery, through exposure to the various activities. That was constructivism. But now connectivism. What is connectivism? Connectivism, this approach, basically, we are moving from constructivism to connectivism because the scenario has been changing. The process has been changed. Teacher is more than the facilitator of the knowledge. We have to learn from where? teacher is not only the source nowadays. You have to be very resourceful. How resources will come, will not come, from where it will come. Resources, you have to arrange the resources through internet, through your friends, through the experts, through your teachers. Anybody can make you learn. But the thing is, you have to develop connections. That is networking part. And that is what connectivism is. Connectivism is a learning theory in which knowledge exists outside the learner and learner makes the connections to build the knowledge, to transform the knowledge, and the connections that learners make help them create their own learning network. And through this network, learners will be able to stay up to date with the content. And this is very important for learners to stay up to date. And this approach was given by Simon and Downey. Simon outlines the major idea of connectivism. And if I want to highlight that ideas, learning and knowledge rests in the diversity of opinions. Like you people, we have a diverse group. In classroom, we have a diverse learners. Learning is the process of connecting specialized nodes or information resources. We call them as a nodes. Learning may reside in a non-human appliances. Capacity to know more is more critical than what currently is known. That was what I am saying, that you should be very curious, you should be eager to know more, learn more. And nurturing and maintaining connection is needed to facilitate learning. The ability to identify the connections between concepts is important. Decision-making is the learning process as the information change. You have to develop this capacity in your students also to make decisions, give them freedom to take the decisions. But at the same time, it's the role of it's a job of the teacher to give them authentic information also, to validate the information. Because what I was saying, that you have to give them the task before they're coming to classrooms, and you have to be very careful by selecting which content. You have to curate the content, which content has to be given, because you know that on the internet there is so much flood of information, and both that is not authentic also. You have to select the information, and here the job is challenging in online teaching learning. So this what about connectivism is. And this I have made some differences between behaviorism and connectivism, and this cognitivism and constructivism. I mean, behavioristic theories were based on the reinforcement, like via external processes. Cognist, they believe that it is the basically it is based on the information processing, that is short-term, long-term memory. And constructivists, they thought that this process is an active process, a social process, and basically learner builds their own experiences. And connectivism is going to be that postulate that learner is a self-directed learning, and learning takes place through the network of connections, and connections has to be established between the nodes. Nodes are what? Content, source, people, group within your network. And we have different methods for this, different pedagogies. So this, I will share this slide with you, then you can easily know what these methods are. Now I'm going to next slide and want to show one thing. Yes, this 5 E's were there in the cycle, learning cycle, and then that was engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. This is the construction model of constructivism, this learning cycle. And then it was going to be shifted, then we have added 2 E's more also. Then it was given to elicit, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and extend. These were mentioned there. Then these some of the pedagogies, some of the teaching learning strategies that was I want to discuss with you, that is learner-centered education, that we have cognitive apprenticeship, that is that you people be knowing that some doctors, some lawyers, before they do some training, they undergo some practice apprenticeship. And this is what in learning or in teaching learning process also, once you are giving them temporary support, once you are trained, they will once they know how to learn, they will be in a position to take their independent charge. And this method we also follow in this learner-centered education also, that up to some level you can climb them. but after some level, they will not be able to climb the floor or the wall. I'm just giving an example. You have to support with your shoulders, or you have to support with your hands to reach that wall. And that temporary support is needed. And I have also told in scaffolding also that once the learners have made them independent, then we can give them the responsibility of their own learning. You can give them. And then we have critical thinking, problem solving, cooperative learning. And I'm sure that you people might be knowing about this. Ma'am also has discussed all these. So I'm moving to next slide. This was actually video I want to show with you people that about active learning. What are the active learning strategies? But I think I have to shift to next slide. I will be sharing with you the PPT. And this was the learner-centered practices. Learner-centered practices which we are using, that is collaborative group learning. Collaboration is very important to encourage the communication between teacher and student, to provide opportunities for interaction. That is group learning, as ma'am has already said, that is very important for learning to take place in the social process. And we have another practice of computer-based cooperative learning. It's a very good, very important practice. But I have followed in when in face-to-face learning, when before COVID-19, this was a very important. We have made the groups of students in a classroom, and then I provide them computer. Then I made the group of 3-4 students in a group, and I provide them computer. I provide them content, e-content also, e-text also. Various activities were provided to them, and they work in a teams to learn the concept. And that was computer-based cooperative learning. And I used different techniques, think, pair, share, and there was different techniques I followed. And third strategy is computer-based individualistic learning. That is very important because sometimes we want to learn on our own. Self-learning is a very important component. And always remember that in a day, you should spare half an hour for you to learn something, because that period is very important to do something. Even in the daily routines, we should follow that for an half an hour, I have to learn something. That is very important. And for some topics, you can use this individualistic learning, but it will not go away with every topic. And I believe that we should make a partnership between cooperative learning and individualistic learning. When I use these techniques both, in some students was able to do with cooperative and some with individualistic. But when we apply both the techniques of basic partnership, that will give you the basic results, and that will improve the learning outcomes, basically the academic achievement of students. And also it is helpful in retention also. And we have problem solving learning. We have to give them the task to solve the problems. Then we have flipped classroom. This is very, very important technology. And I want to take 2-3 minutes for this flipped classroom. Flipped is what? We have to flip the role. We have to now just transforming the role. Flipped का मतलब क्या है कि आप टीचर का काम ही खत्म हो गया? No. The job now has become a very, I must say, it requires an effort. It's a tough job. It's a challenging job. Before coming to classroom, teacher has to give them information, some reading material to students before students come into classroom. Students will learn those material, will undergo the whole process of learning. They will study the material. And when they come to classroom, we can use the method of collaborative learning. We can make them teams. We can have discussion forum. They can discuss and make and evolve new concepts. And then teacher is there to intervene. Teacher is there to guide. Teacher is there to facilitate. The role is not over. The teacher has to provide the help, whatever they need, because without a teacher, what will they do? The main objective of teaching learning process will not achieved. So in flipped classroom, what is the main thing is flexibility. The process is flexible. Intentional content. teacher has to provide intentional content. Teacher has to search, teacher has to curate very carefully which content has to be provided. ऐसे भी कुछ content हम उठा के नहीं दे सकते, and we cannot also give just left out to students that they can select the content on their. No, we have to give the content. We have to select it purposefully with what objectives we are planning for the task. And yes, interactivity. Interactivity is a very important. Why we are making the groups? Why collaborative learning? No. Why cooperative learning? For interaction, for engagement, for activities, we need this flipped classroom. And then we have inquiry-based learning. We have to just give them activities that is for logic thinking, for critical thinking, and for hands-on learning, we have to give them practice sessions as we are doing here for you people for last 4 days. And then you have to provide them some field experiences also by taking them on-site visits. Yes, it was possible in traditional classrooms, but now as we are moving to online classrooms, as Dr. Eram Khan has demonstrated us for virtual classroom, virtual labs also, virtual tours are also possible in online learning. So all these strategies, I'm sure will work in online teaching learning also to some extent. Maybe it will not work, but it will definitely work if you can use according to the content you have. Then we have self-paced performance. That is very important, that individuals should not be left over. It's just not a race, as I have already mentioned that. Give them time, give them flexibility. Learning can happen anywhere at any time. But the thing is that a teacher has to arrange the content, teacher has to develop the content at what time they have to given, how much they have to provide feedback also. As ma'am already said that we have to provide a prompt feedback. Timely feedback is important. After completing the task, if the years of the months have passed and you are providing the feedback, how it will work? It will not work. Next, I'm moving to next slide. Activities, yes, these are the activities, class discussions, and this was face-to-face, and now we have class discussions online also. We have discussion forums also, as yesterday they were talking about. Films you can watch anywhere. Field trips are there, and I have told you various trips can be possible. Experimentation, yes, virtual labs, that is FET Colorado that Dr. Balaji has told us about for online experimentation. That is also possible in online teaching learning. We have to give them some research project work also that can be allotted to them and make them groups also. That is also possible in online teaching learning process. And this was about the constructivist teaching strategies and how to use that strategies. Basically how to evolve the concept. Like you are not spoon feeding the students. We have to evolve the concepts by giving them various examples, activities, illustrations. That is what. And the balance is, yes, balance is needed in both the approaches. What you are doing, we have to maintain a stable, we have to provide them an environment in which learning takes place by learning by doing. You as the teacher are facilitator, you are a guide, you are a mentor, and you have to think why you are selecting this method to teach your students. And as I have told that in this online constructivist classrooms, flexibility is very important, because nowadays when students do not have internet connections, then you can provide them videos. They can learn at their own time, at own pace. At least they can show the various videos, recordings of what you have told them, even if they have not any internet connection. And interactivity is a very important phenomenon in this online teaching learning process. As I have told you, we have to provide them the problems related to the real life. For what? For just to arouse the interest, curiosity. That is very important. That is why I'm talking about real life experiences. Next is these are some components of online teaching. Teacher has in hand the content knowledge. He has to be master in this content knowledge. Methods of teaching, yes, you should be aware what are the strategies available and individual and personal characteristics of learner. then competencies required in context of learning. We have to build the competencies, as I have told you that you have the knowledge of various tools, you have the knowledge of strategies, but how to implement, how to use, how to make them competent to use is what is required in this online teaching learning. This is not simple process as it appears to be, that you go online, you choose the platform, but how to teach, how to make them learn, that is important. And we have to prepare some e-content also and provide resources to the students. You can make your videos of your lectures, you can give them assignments and readings. As we have, I think I have discussed you the methods, and the best methods will be like collaborative learning, flipped classrooms, and and also that we have talked about swam. Yes, swam is also very good, that you have to make your e-tutorials, you have to make the videos first, lectures, you have to make the lectures of your videos, and then you are providing them for you have e-tutorials recording, and then we are going for assessment part, online discussion forums, that you can also use in your online teaching also. You have to develop the e-content also. Then tools for collaboration, as we have, why I'm talking about these tools of collaboration, because for online collaborative learning, we need tools. We need some we have some synchronous tools, we have some asynchronous tools, that like asynchronous, we have emails, discussion, because you are not present at the same time I am present here. You are there and I am there. This is synchronous. This is what I'm telling you. It is possible on the Zoom platform. So there are various kinds of tools you can use for collaborative learning. I have told you about cooperative learning, that we work in a small groups to maximize our learning. We have a common goal. We have to, we are moving to accomplish a common task in the group. We have to solve the problem or complete an assignment. And these were the elements of this cooperative learning strategies. You have to make them positive interdependence is very important. And because that was in face-to-face interaction that was possible. Now, even in online, it is possible. Face-to-face interaction, individual and group accountability is obviously there. If you are not responsible for your work, then it will not be possible to accomplish the task. Interpersonal and small group skills is very, very important. When you are working in a group, you have to interact with the people. You are exchanging the ideas. You have to develop the skills of patience, tolerance. That is very important. And last is group processing. I mean, when you process, that is for learning, we have to find out the solution. We collectively work towards the common goal. That is very important. Then why to use this cooperative learning? As I have told you, that for improving learning outcomes, for retention, for academic achievement, for social skills, for social interaction, this method goes well. And there are challenges, and I do agree with you people, and that how to help the students when they are not present in front of you. They are present in their homes, you are there, and you are also struggling enough hard. You are struggling how to motivate them to learn. What are the methods? What are the tools? You are learning that tools also. I mean, it will take time. There are challenges also. How to make them interesting, how to make the pupils to work upon various tasks in a better way, how to enhance their performance. That is very important. And all this can be possible through collaborative learning. There is, I don't think so that there is another solution. You have to accept that you have to go by this lane, that is collaborative learning. And because this COVID-19 has thrown us the challenge, and we have to employ certain techniques by using this strategy of collaborative learning, in which students and teachers come together, they work in the group. Obviously, activities may widely vary. Different subject requires different method, but mostly they are centered on students' exploration or applications of the material. The job of the teacher is to facilitate the process, and that is required in the teaching learning process. And these are basically the 4 principles. where this collaborative learning is revolving around. That is learner-centered, learner-driven pedagogy, interaction, learning by doing, by practice. And of course, we are working in a groups. We can make groups. We are interacting with each other. You are interacting within your group, also interacting with me, also interacting with resource person. We are interacting with each other. And these are the structured approaches to develop solutions to some real world problems. Yes. And as I have told you, that constructivism is such a pedagogy. Constructivism is such a pedagogy that requires authentic problems, real life problems. When you do that, learner is self-motivated to learn. There is no issue of developing motivation, no issue of developing curiosity. Then why use collaborative learning? As I have told you, that we have to develop some social skills, and this process go hand in hand. Teaching and learning both are collaborative process. Learning is not only, but teaching also. You have to make collaboration between students, between teacher and students, students and students. Then learning can only happen in that classroom. If teacher works in isolation or students works in isolation, then interaction will not take place. And these are some of the online collaborative tools I want to show with you. Some tools you have learned. I think you have learned the tools like we can work collaboratively on Google Sheets that ma'am has told you, Eram ma'am, Google tools. She has demonstrated you various tools. In Google Sheet, you can use for a collaborative work. You can share the Google Sheet. Google Jamboard, we can share it with our students, giving them link. Google Docs, we can collaboratively work on a same document. We can share that I have prepared one document and I can share with the number of people, and they can contribute their ideas in that document, and we can collaboratively work on the Google Docs. Dr. Vishal Sharma has given you information about Wakelet and Padlet. That is for open-ended questions. You can use this Padlet to give some activities. For some instructions, you can use Padlet for the engagement purpose. You can interactivity purpose, both purpose. And you can use Zoom also, Google Meet, what we are using, that we have some chat box also in there. We are interacting with each other, and we have the option of breakout rooms in there. In Zoom, it is possible, but in Google Meet, this option has not yet come, and it will give you the feature of breakout rooms that I was talking about cooperative learning, how it will take place in online scenario. Google Meet, this feature is not available. You have to make the rooms, breakout room, by every time you have to start the meeting, copy the link and give to the students and make one room. You can manually add the students to that room. But in Zoom, we have that option of breakout rooms. We can make the rooms and we can do that cooperative learning, collaborative learning. Students can make, we will make the groups, they can discuss, they can exchange their ideas, interaction will take place. And this is how you can go about. And then you should know, you should have the knowledge of that storage also, cloud storage. I mean, people nowadays, we all are struggling with that is of storage in our devices. Somebody was asking me to share the recording of these files, and I said that it is not possible to share that heavy files of recording with you people, because there are some constraints also. We all are struggling with this issue, and for a teaching process nowadays, you require a good storage in your devices, and you can use Google Drive that is offering 15 GB of space, that is free to use, Google Drive. And there is a Dropbox also. Then we have Microsoft OneDrive, that is the complete Office, Microsoft 365, that is Google Sheet, Google Worksheet, Excel sheet, documents, everything. MS Word is complete Office, I can say. And because we are using this Microsoft from so long, Google Docs, Google Sheets, these are a new concept for us, but that is also very simple to use. But we were aware of this MS Office prior to, and it is very handy to use for desktop version also. Microsoft OneDrive, it's a complete package. And that is, we have iCloud Drive also, but that offers only 5 GB. You have to take various membership, that's a paid version. And moving to next, this I have shown you, iCloud, Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. This was the free mind tool. I want to share with you that how to how to make the mind maps using this tool. This is very easy tool, and I have sent link also in the group to download this tool and make the mind maps. You can easily download this tool, free mind tool, and develop the mind maps. Mind maps are basically done. I have some video also. I will share this link in my PPT. That is very easy to go with the steps, how to develop the mind maps. And mind maps and concept map also. I want to share with you concept map also, that it is basically the concept map is a diagram where we develop under the big concept, there are small concepts. Like example of constructivism. What is constructivism? It is basically the active learning. It is participatory approach. I'm giving you example. I will show also you one quick concept map. These are the various stages involved in the construction. I mean, you are brainstorming. You have to think which concepts are linked with your main concept. I mean, what are the sub concepts? You have to organize in the way, and you have to link them. And concept maps, why we use concept maps? These are very good example of graphical organizers. I mean, when you show some activity which can be visualized, that is easy to understand and retain for the longer time. And that is why we go for this concept map. That is, some idea is in front of us. This is the concept map. This is the example I am giving you. This was the constructivism, the main central idea. And these were the main sub-concepts, that is collaboration, hands-on learning, different environments, variety, web learning, best practices. I mean, this can you use in your daily life also. We can construct these maps. That is very helpful for understanding also, and for organizational purpose, for management purpose also. These maps are very, very helpful. Then I was showing you that how to make the breakout rooms in Google Meet. We have different steps. First, we have to create the separate meetings for each room, and then we have to post that meet links to the to share with the students. And this all can go in the Google Classroom. Google Classroom, you can go to Google Classroom, go to the topic, create in the section, you have to create the assignment, and from there, you can make announcement, copy and paste that link as announcement, and students will join that link and form one room. These were the breakout rooms. You can I can show you the video. And then we have teaching with the Zoom. Zoom, I have showed. Zoom you will be able to understand Zoom easily, because in Zoom, it is possible for active learning and collaboration also, because we have a polling tool. We can easily poll your answers. It will give you the immediate result. As some of you have done that polling, I was giving you the question, and that I was receiving the immediate response. And we have the option of breakout rooms for group learning. As I'm saying, that constructivist pedagogy, this is possible in the Zoom. You can share Google document also. You can ask the students to go for collaborative learning by considering this platform. And I want to show this Zoom breakout rooms in the Zoom. I'm sharing the screenshot that will be easy you to follow, because I have to show you another slide also. These were the basic steps I was following in Zoom. And yes, I want to talk you about YouTube also. As we have talked about creation of content in last 4 days, we have talked about creation, but dissemination of content is very important. Once you have created your content, then how are you disseminating your content to the learners? How to reach out to the learners? I mean, that is very important when we are in such a COVID-like situation, how to reach out to learners. That is, YouTube is best option. You go for it, and it is not any charging you money also. You can easily, that is working with your Gmail account. You have your Gmail ID, Just go with Gmail account, create your channel, upload the video. It is a very simple process, as it is not a complicated process, it's very simple. And you can give them your videos to your students. You can share with the other members of community, you can share with the society, anybody group, any learners, any part of any community you can share. And this is very important nowadays when we are not able to, sometimes, yes, we can't go for paid versions also. It is free of cost and reach out to the million and millions of users. This is the main important thing about YouTube. And you know that nowadays everybody is using this YouTube. And if you are not started using it, then you can start this YouTube, you can create your channel and post your video of your teaching and learning. Any video not related with teaching, any video you can post that is knowledgeable video, gaining you can gaining the knowledge from that video. Yes, the role of teacher, very important. But I want to discuss something in detail you, that what is the role now we have just shifted to this process of online teaching learning. What is the role? Facilitator, guide, observer, diagnostician. These are the four major roles teacher has to play in online teaching learning process. I mean, to become an active, to come in from passive mode to active mode. For playing these roles, teacher has to develop new pedagogy, use new methods of teaching for this purpose. I mean, you have to become, first you have to become visible in front of your students. Just forget teaching, forget learning. And when such situation is of COVID-19 is there, when students are not able to see you, first visible to them. And then the second thing is of teaching and learning. First, try to communicate, try to reach out with your learners, because they are missing you so very much. They're missing their classes. And for teaching learning, you can manage. I know, because before that you are managing on some WhatsApp group, on your some Google Meet you can use. Some initial knowledges we have, and we are trying to reach to that stage. We are trying to teach online these methods. We are learning these methods. So you have to, one thing you have to kept out in a mind, that you have to maintain a connection with your students. That is very, very important. And also, I'm not saying that look at yourself also, because the last thing, you have a life too. I'm not saying that you don't have your own life. No, you can only do can give you best. And in these times of crisis, you are writing to give them best of your efforts. You are trying hard. Every teacher is trying hard, and this will pass. We all are hoping that this will pass, and we will get back to our institutions. And the goal of keeping the class together, and providing the support to students, developing new skills, and we definitely we will reach out to the students in face-to-face interaction also. We will win this battle. I am praying and I am hoping so. Keeping this sense of humor, you have to make the difference to students' life. I mean, students, the process of teaching and learning. I mean, you are there. Students, some students will be in position to connect with you, some are not. Every home has different environment. But you have to search out the ways to make the connection. That is, connectivism is very important. Constructivism is important. Connectivism is very, very important nowadays. Forget the tools, forget this online learning, forget the teaching platforms, everything. Just remember your students. Teaching will automatically take place. Motivation will happen. They will motivate to learn. Their curiosity will arise. Learning will happen. Just make them a bond, make them feel your presence. I want this to incorporate this element. You have a knowledge of various methodologies, various tools, but the main thing is connection. We have to build that connection. You have to keep the doors of learning open, whether it is online, whether it is offline. I mean, it is a duty of our, as a teachers, we have to keep all these things, keeping in mind the present situation, what we can do, what we can make out. We are trying, and this road of construction is on the process, constructing the knowledge. It will never end. Being a teacher, educator, and you being also teachers and teacher educators, a very diverse group we are lifelong learners. We have to keep in this mind, for an effective teachers, we have to develop the positive attitudes. We have to make up our mindset is very important in this online teaching. ठीक है, हो गया एकदम से शिफ्ट, लेकिन अब क्या करें? It's very difficult. लेकिन what we can do, first of all, make up your mind. Learning, teaching and learning will happen. You have to start with a positive attitude, a positive note. So because once you are ready to accept the things, it will automatically, teaching learning will automatically starts. Whether you use these strategies, whether you are not willing to go on extra miles, that willingness, we want that willingness. Thank you so very much for listening to me.
Well, friends, there are some questions addressed to Dr. Anuradha, and I hope she's too willing to.
Yes, sure, ma'am. I have shared my little bit knowledge, what I have to the learners.
Please carry on with the questions.
Yes, ma'am. How can we keep the check on students in online classes? Yes, I do agree with whoever asked this question. It is very difficult nowadays, but what we can do is you can break your long task into smaller tasks. So that is, and go for interaction, go for the connection. I mean, if you want to, and go and develop a bond, just like a bond of a friendly atmosphere, that it should not be authoritarian. You just give them information, and also wait them to take some steps, wait them to take for their reaction also. I mean, this will not happen overnight. You have to remind, if you once give them task, I know it's very difficult to have a check on the students. It is very difficult to mute these microphones, and some people are creating the problems from there. But patience is the only key in this online classes. Patience is the only key, because we are in the process. Yes, there are technologically, there are various platforms. Some, if you going for various controls, in various, like in Zoom, there are controls are available in Zoom platform also. Like we have muted your audio and video just to, so that for the smooth running of this process, controls are there. But the main thing is that just develop a friendly connection with your students, make them realize that this online teaching learning process will surely benefit them once they participate in this process. Try to arouse the curiosity, give them the assignments, small assignments, give them small assignments, and you can use variety of techniques, like you can use pictures, images, videos, variety of activities, so that they are not feel burdened at the same time, and they not feel bored at the same time. Keeping in view the resources that they don't have so much resources, we have to keep in this mind also. Do we need an app to create this kind of PPT? Oh, no, I have made this PPT in Google Slides. I do not use any app for this, but yes, apps are available for, that is, you can use LaTeX Beamer also to prepare your presentation. That is based on programming. You can download that. And otherwise, SlideGo is there. Google Slide is the best option, free of cost, no problem. Just go with your Gmail account. There is the option of Google Slides, Google Docs, as ma'am has showed you. Then difference between experiential learning and activity-based learning. Yes, there is a lot of difference. Activity-based learning is when somebody is giving you a task, giving some activity to perform that, maybe in a group, maybe in a classroom, maybe outside the classroom. Somebody is giving you activity to perform that activity. experiential learning is somewhat, it can happen alone also. I mean, it's your experiences when you encounter with environment, the interactions takes place. That is what experience. I mean, suppose you people all have your different experiences in this workshop. Some are happy, some were expecting more, some wants to some wants to add something, comments like they want that these lectures should be like assignments, yesterday somebody has told. So everybody has own experience. Experiential learning can happen anywhere and in individual also. Somebody is not assigning you any activity. Activity is a different thing, that somebody is given you some task to do, to perform. That is activities. How can teacher be a diagnostician? Yes, a teacher has to be a diagnostician. A teacher has to diagnose the problem, that where lies the problem. Somebody was saying that, ma'am, students are not motivated to learn in this online. There is no interest, there is no curiosity. Then you have to diagnose where lies the problem. And this diagnostication, this role is not as easy as it appears to be. The problem lies where? In my teaching methods, in the resources I'm providing to them. Maybe there is some problem at student side. Maybe at home, he or she is not feeling good. I mean, you have to search out the problem, where you have to diagnose various causes. You have to analyze various aspects, keeping in view that you have to keeping your learners how to learn. You have to make them learn. And otherwise, if you stop diagnosing the problem, ठीक है, मैं आई, मैंने अपना पढ़ाया और चली गई, learning होती है तो हो, otherwise there is no problem, the process will go on. Yes, the process will goes on, but then what will happen? Then there is no motivation, no curiosity, no learning outcomes, no academic achievement, and no learning throughout these techniques of this teaching learning. Forget these techniques. The main thing is learning has to be happen. You have to make them learn by providing them tasks in the real life, real world life, by making them the process interactive, learning through the connections, by experiencing new things from the environment, by encountering the new things. You can only learn. I think.
Any other questions? Participants, are there any questions? What is that? Please read out. You have explained all the processes.
Thank you so much, learners. Thank you so much, participants, for listening me so patiently. I was trying you to provide whatever I can. I have also listed some sources. I will provide you in PPT also, that there is a professor K. Srinivas from NIPA, and he has developed his own website, and that is very useful. I want to share. I will share the link with you. That is, there is one important thing was their checklist. A checklist for online teaching learning, that is various components and lot of OER resources. A very good website. You must visit that, and there are a lot of resources. I will share with you what I have, the YouTube videos and all that. I think somebody is asking. Yes, attendance link. We have posted the link. You was not active. You was not alert. Otherwise, there is no problem. And thank you so much. Now,
okay. Well, friends, so what is constructivism? Constructivism is what all you have been doing all these days to create contents throughout this workshop and earlier also to construct knowledge. What Dr. Anuradha has done is to elaborate upon the approaches, various approaches of construction of knowledge from different angles. The entire process of teaching and learning has become participatory, collaborative, experiential, interactive, self-paced, flexible, experiential, and facilitative. Interdependence is there. So apart from explaining about the theory of constructivism, its needs, principles, etc., she has also touched upon importance of social constructivism and its classroom implications. she has highlighted various techniques that can be incorporated in classroom teaching, also emphasizing cooperative and collaborating techniques of teaching and learning, which are more important than the rest. As far as online collaborative tools are concerned, she has taken a lot of time on elaborating that, and I am sure that these will prove very useful to you. The entire presentation on constructivism was complete in every respect, covering all the aspects with respect to theory, tools and techniques, online meets, and all that is required for a teacher to incorporate in the process. So dissemination, how to reach out to the learner, was very exhaustive and illuminative also, and I am sure that it has this session must have been very useful to you all. And with this, we appreciate and thank Dr. Anuradha for enlightening us all on the theme. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your guidance and support, for your inspiration. Ma'am has inspired me a lot from the day I has been in contact with her. No, this is the fact. And thank you so much, ma'am, for providing this opportunity also as a lecture, this lecture in this workshop. Thank you, participants. And for today, the sessions are over. We will meet again by tomorrow and last day of our workshop. And tomorrow we have 2 sessions with Dr. Tejinder Pal about the tools, and he is an expert person, and you must attend those lectures. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. Now I'm ending this meeting.